we've kind of fallen into a cold, wet weather pattern right now. I'm looking at the weather forecast, and I'm looking like 2 weeks out, which is a long time to be looking ahead. We're looking at like plus 10s at the most, and lots of cloud and cool, windy, drizzly, foggy kind of days ahead of us. So that is not very favorable weather to be feeding colonies up in, especially trying to bulk these colonies up with these open feeders. The bees actively have to get out of the nest, fly to the feeder, and bring back the syrup. And with cooler days and this time of year, a lot of that summer population has drifted away. So there's not as big a field force as there was beginning of September. It takes a lot longer to suck these open feeders down. So what we're going to have to do is, like, we set these open feeders out here last week, and they haven't had any opportunity to take them down hardly at all, just a little bit. So what we're going to have to do is to top up these colonies with the last little bit of syrup they need. I'm thinking I've scaled a few colonies, and we're going to have to put another 15 pounds on or so, which isn't a whole lot, but it's got to be put on before October. I want these hives to have the syrup properly stored away and cured before October hits. That's kind of like my target in the fall, to have my colonies fed up. We have some really cold, miserable Octobers, and we can drift pretty quickly into winter if we don't watch it here. We could have a good October, which would just help the colonies properly stow away the feed. But I got to be prepared. I got to make sure that these colonies are fed up properly. So we're going to have to pull the pails out. We're going to pull all the 1 gallon pails out to use to finish topping up these colonies. Like, they don't need a lot, but those big pails, fill them, a third full, and there's more drip issue with them because the bees will just take the syrup a lot slower when it's cooler, and they're filling up, so they just don't take the syrup down as quick. Those big pails tend to drip a little bit, so I use those little ones just to times like this, just to finish up the colonies when they take the syrup a bit slower. So it's going to add a whole layer of work, but it's nothing we're not used to. I mean, this is beekeeping after all. So next week we'll be going around. We'll be topping up the 2.5 gallon pails, just to kind of finish up some yards, and then we're going to go around with these 1 gallon pails and just top everything up a little bit and see where that gets us. So it's pretty much it for these open feeders, unless the weather turns around and the bees are able to access fly and access these open feeders for a week. But for the most part, we're going to probably let them feed them out and pull them back to the honey house and finish the season up with pails. So out to one of my more sheltered yards along a field edge. Cattle are out grazing our fields right now. These bees are tucked away nice and warm inside their colonies. You can kind of hear it's cold as fuck out here. They're just kind of tucked away, not doing a whole lot. Save them here. Just nicely clustered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 frames of bees clustered in there, nice and tight. Gotta leave these guys alone when it's cool like this, but I haven't got a lot of feed on them yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, clustered in there. These bees are nicely prepared, so they're not going to need a whole lot of syrup to finish them off. I'm just going to make sure they have access to a little bit more, just to make sure they got what they need. From cluster there. like I tip any back right now. There's no use.